Good evening and welcome to Sunday Sports. I'm Arthur Bwanakawa, senior sports writer. Simnikiwe Xabanisa is with me tonight until 8 p.m. We'll take a look at Banyana's game against Zambia with coach Desiree Ellis, and later on celebrate Manon Gidali's maiden win at the Cape Town Ladies Open. All that coming up in the show, but first up is South African cricket legend Gary Kirsten, who joins us tonight from Cape Town. He's very much invested in the development of the sport in disadvantaged areas through his Gary Kirsten Foundation, but we'll just hold on for there as I just quickly bring in Sims. Sims, it's great to have you again on the show. Welcome. Always great chatting to you. Just recently we heard about the Rainbow Cup possibly being called off and jeopardizing, of course, in the long run, just the quality of the national team as they get set for the British and Irish Lions tour. Your opening remarks towards that.
Yeah, look, I think you got to look at the pros and the cons. I think the cons are obviously the fact that it takes away preparation time from the Springboks. That's the first one, and the second one is it also takes money out of Sari's pocket because
Correct.
the broadcast rights that would have that were set for for the Rainbow Cup now probably no longer going to those coffers. So we might have a situation where we might have to go into pay cuts again. That's the other situation, and then obviously the third one is probably, the third con is probably the fact that we're going to have yet another version of the Currie Cup in, trying to get the Boks to prepare. And at first it was great. The sponsors were grateful to have any kind of content on TV, but I think everyone's just getting bored of watching our teams play each other week in and week out. And that's kind of where the issues are. But the upside, probably the fact that Rassie Erasmus can take the Springboks to camp.
Fantastic. Can't wait to see what Sari and the rest of the Springbok contingent do ahead, of course, of the British and Irish Lions tour. Gary, thanks for joining us on the show tonight. It's an absolute honor. One of the most lethal left-hand batsmen I've ever met and seen in my whole lifetime. But we're here to talk about the Gary Kirsten Foundation, which aims to promote a sporting, in particular, a cricket ecosystem that focuses on sports skills and life skills. I mean, just having the heart to transform the lives of people in any community is massive. Just your thoughts on how far the foundation has come so far.
Yeah, thanks for having me on your show. And yeah, it's been a 7-8 year journey now where we identified a region in Khayelitsha in the Western Cape to connect with the community and to find out what was going on with their sport. And I was very fortunate to meet up with the headmaster of Chris Hani High School in the eastern side of Khayelitsha, and he kind of took me around 8 or 9 schools and just gave me a really good flavor or feel of what sport looked like in the township of Khayelitsha. And I think that precipitated the thought that we could add some value in this area, and specifically with cricket, and that started the process for us.
Sim, I love exactly what Gary said, in particular the Chris Hani Secondary School, which is not like your traditional big cricketing schools in the Western Cape, the Wynberg, the Rondebosch. Going to the Chris Hani Secondary setup, is that also like deliberate? Is that to say that we're also going to be very much in the faces of cricket's development to say that we are getting the ball rolling?
Yeah, look, I think one of the issues with the whole development thing is that when you get spotted, you get taken to a Model C school or a private school. And I think, and I can't speak for Gary, he's right here. Yeah. I think that the aim here is to make sure that you take the development to where the kids are, because it's not like they live at these schools that they get to play for. And so I think that's the whole point. That's always been the whole point, is to take the facilities to where the kids are. It's tough, obviously, but that's a gradual sort of fight.
All right, fantastic. Gary, in particular, how does the sport of cricket transform the lives of the people within the community, especially because there are some harsh realities like drugs, alcohol abuse, underage drinking, as I just mentioned, the raping of young boys and girls. I mean, in that kind of setup, you need a lot more than just a cricket pad and a red ball to get people away from those dangers, especially in the setup of Khayelitsha.
Oh, absolutely. I think the important thing is to provide access to the game of cricket. And as you guys have mentioned, it's all well and true, 1 or 2 talented young cricketers out the township getting scholarships to the elite schools in the country. But what about the rest that also have promise and talent? And that was the vision of the foundation, is just to say, can we build a cricket center of excellence in the townships, where a young kid who lives in the suburb of Makaza, in the area that we are in, he walks 2 minutes to go and hit a couple of hundred balls every day if he wanted to, and has a coach there to help him on the journey. So I think that was the intention behind it. But for me, the most important thing is not necessarily to produce, talented young cricketers out of the area. It's more to give access to the game of cricket, which a lot don't have.
And Gary, just out of interest, how does this tie in with CSA's official sort of development programs? I mean, I know you're saying it's not really about cricket ultimately, but how does it tie in?
Well, it doesn't tie in at all, to be honest with you. But I've had no conversations around it. It was just me as an individual saying I wanted to try and make a difference in whatever capacity that I could. And there were two important components to that. One is I've had tremendous privilege out of the game of cricket for many, many years. And I think the second component to it was, can we create an environment where people have access to the sport? So, for me, I like to say, well, I played for my country for 11 years, had incredible privilege. It's my responsibility to do what I can to make sure that others have a similar opportunity. And a similar opportunity is not to hit cricket balls in a street, to get someone like a Mackay and Tini down there who really warms the hearts of township people in that area, because they just get to understand, they get to identify with Mackay, I think is massive. And the more we can do that, and the more we can integrate what we've created there, which is great facilities, but we can integrate those role models into the environment. It just gives a young player an opportunity to aspire to something greater, and that's what we would love to do. There's lots of talented young cricketers in the townships, but they just need opportunity, opportunity to pursue their talents and their skills, and we're kind of hoping that we're able to do that in a small way.
Fantastic. Sim?
Gary, I mean, just obviously, I mean, the whole sort of development thing is, what have you found in terms of ability? You sit and look at a township and you say, well, that's not really where cricketers or batsmen come from. What kind of talent have you discovered? Obviously, obviously cricket sort of talent.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're working from under 10 through to the end of high school, So if someone said to me, what are you seeing there? I said, I could go to any region in the world. I can go to an elite cricket school in the country, and I would see exactly the same thing. Lots of talented young players pursuing their skills. So nothing different. The most important thing, as we know, is access to quality facilities and great opportunities. And number two, access to great coaching. I'm passionate about coach education, because I just feel that that's really where the difference lies. I was very fortunate as a young player, 6, 7, 8-year-old. I had quality coaching. I had someone spending time on my game and teaching me the basics of the game. And I think a lot of these young players that show real coordination on the ball, that they get the a same opportunity to pursue the talent. If they've got coordination on the ball, who's helping them walk the journey from a 10-year-old talented batsman to an 18-year-old superstar? And coaching is massively important in that journey.
Well said, Gary Kirsten. Thanks for joining us on the show tonight and speaking about the Gary Kirsten Foundation. Looking forward, of course, to future projects and, of course, development and the great milestones that we'll have to chat about, of course, right here on the show. Gary Kirsten there from the Gary Kirsten Foundation. Sims, loved that conversation. There's so much more coming up on the show right here on Sunday Sports. Banyana takes on Botswana in their second friendly on Tuesday. Coach Desiree Ellis joins us on that next.